Hey, welcome to Bay Waves. I'm Johnny T.
I'm Dylan.
We're here to spotlight some emerging talent in the Bay. We got a really cool guest on today's episode. We got Jordan Ranft. He's a slam poet. It's going to be super fun. But before we get into it, Dylan, how are you? What's going on in the Bay with you?
In the Bay, I've been going on these walks because I have this neighbor who, hey, why are you looking at me like that?
Because you're just taking my story, Dylan.
No.
Everything that I give you,
It's original.
you just take, you plagiarize it, and then you put it into some stand-up comedy bit, and then you act like it's your own, but I'm coming for you.
The thing is, I'm going to say whatever you say funnier than you say it.
Okay, well...
So, like, it's wasted talent when it comes out of your mouth. I take it, I refine it, I add some zhuzh, and it's better.
It's so mean, but it's probably a little true.
Oh, no, you did do a bit to me that I did to you last night. I did a show.
Yes. Yeah.
And I
No. I did the
you
show
did a
first.
show. I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
But I came up after your show because we're both in the green room because my show's next. And I come up to you and I get way too close to your face. While you're trying to do something, you're like fiddling with yourself.
Yeah, I was fixing the board
You're
that we
fixing the
used in the
board.
show.
Yeah. And then and I'm like almost angrily saying like, good fucking job. You did such a good job out there, you little bitch. You like that? Was that a good show? You like that show?
Very sexually charged.
It was sexually charged, and also like I was mad at you a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to feel about you at the moment, and that's how I felt. That's how I came in.
Yeah.
I came
you
in
saw
hot.
me, but it was a little bit of cuteness.
I hadn't
aggression,
seen you in a
think.
while.
Yeah, I think it was cute aggression.
It was
As in,
cute
like,
aggression.
You saw me like you're like grinding your teeth a little
God.
bit.
Yeah. I was hard the whole time.
Yeah, of course.
How'd you feel about it?
I thought it was funny because you got like right in my ear and you were like breathing into my ear, and I got a little of your slobber in my ear like it was a wet willy. But
Yeah.
But I then was a good friend and watched your show, which was quite fun.
Okay,
I always enjoy your shows. And then I waited a little bit after the show, and you're coming out of the green room, and you're talking to someone else.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't care because my Uber is coming in 30 seconds,
Oh.
and I got to get this bit out.
Yeah.
So I interrupted your whole conversation to do the same exact thing. Like, dude, you're so fucking funny out there. I love seeing you in the front row. Oh my God, you did such a fucking good job. And that's what we do.
And I rejected it.
You,
I said, "What are you doing right now? This is weird."
yeah, and then you made everyone else in the conversation super uncomfortable. And
No, you
and
did
our friend
because
and our friend Andy was just like, "Do you guys need a room?"
Yeah. Oh, did he say that?
He
I didn't
said
catch
something
that.
like, "Why don't you guys just kiss already?" And I was like, "All right, I'm just going to leave now."
That sounds right. That sounds right. Andy's probably the first comedian in the Bay that I kissed.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Actually, I think he kissed me.
Was this in a scene?
Nope.
Whoa.
Yeah. Hey, Andy. You probably remember this.
Yeah. And Andy is an absolute legend. Edited our first video.
That's right.
We love him.
We love him.
And now we're exposing things about him.
Well, it was my body, so I get to talk about it.
That's
I think
true.
that's how it
Okay.
works. But I'm mostly going to talk about his body,
Okay.
which is a mess. No.
No, we love you, Andy.
We love Andy and your body. No, I was joking around, and I was something about like I was like talking about another friend of ours, and it was like I'm like relatively new. I think actually all of us we didn't know each other super well, but I was talking about like a mutual, and I was kind of saying I think I was sexualizing him a little bit. He was sitting right there, so I was like we were just having fun or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think maybe this is years ago, but I think Andy said maybe you guys should kiss already, and then
That's his go-to line. Apparently,
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that may have been what happened, and then I went towards him and I was like, but I like did that to Andy, and Andy's like, don't bitch out or something like that. And he grabbed my face and went, mwah.
Wow,
yeah,
he played
yeah.
gay chicken with you a little bit.
No, it was not chicken at all.
Yeah.
It was just,
Yeah.
it was just gay.
Wow.
I'm
that's
pretty sure.
wholesome.
Yeah, I think we went lip to lip on that one. So that was my first.
And it clearly was okay.
Because we're friends now.
Yeah, friends, creative
That solidified
partners, yeah.
the friendship.
Wow.
You can't not.
Is that what
kiss
you
your
do?
friends.
Is that what you do to all your friends? Yeah.
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 I know we haven't done it yet, but it's gonna happen.
Well, we're not really friends. We're creative partners.
Is that what you call it? We're CPs?
Yeah, we're CPs. One day, maybe, if you're on good behavior, you little shit.
Oh,
well, you're
fucking,
always on such good
you were
behavior.
such a good interviewer in that podcast. You're so fucking good, dude. The way you
All
ask
right.
those questions.
Yeah. Speaking of like questions and podcasting, let's get to our first guest.
Jordan Ranft.
Jordan Ranft.
Poet, slam poet, runs a show in Santa Rosa.
Yeah.
This guy's not just good at poetry, he's hysterical.
He's so
also.
funny.
He's very
He's
funny.
got a great history as well. Some of it, a little sad, but I think he's able to like internalize all of that for the good of the Bay. So everyone should go and see this guy, and we're gonna spotlight him now. So let's get into it.
Thanks again for coming down from Santa Rosa. That's where you live now. You didn't always live there, though.
Yeah. Well, so I'm born and raised in the Bay Area, but I've like lived kind of all over the Bay Area. So I've been in Santa Rosa off and on since like 2010. And it feels like kind of like the most long-standing home base for me. But yeah, I've lived a bunch of places in the Bay.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you're like starting stuff back up there, or you were telling me about a new project?
Right. Yeah, so I'm starting a poetry slam in Santa Rosa for like pretty selfish reasons. I hope no one in Santa Rosa listens to this podcast. Actually, no. I back in like 2011, there was this lady named Brianna Sage, shout out B Sage, who started this poetry slam called the North Bay Poetry Slam, and it ran for 2 years, and it was pretty popular and exciting. And then that ended, and poetry slams just didn't exist in the North Bay since then. And I've been like basically commuting from the North Bay down to Berkeley and Oakland like pretty consistently to get my fix of like slam poetry and spoken word and that kind of show. And I finally just felt comfortable enough in my own capabilities to be like, you know what, fuck it. Like I want to start my own thing up in the North Bay again, to like make it so like I kind of get my fix of like performances. I notice if I like go more than a month without standing in front of a microphone and like holding an audience like hostage with my thoughts, like I start to feel weird. So it's like a monthly sort of place for me to sing and dance in front of everybody as the host. But also it's like I just think that there's fertile ground to build a scene, and there hasn't been anything in terms of like spoken word performance there for over 10 years. And so it's like, it's exciting at the idea of like, if something gets up off the ground and running, like to develop a unique voice of a scene. And like, I've never been able to do that before. So
That's cool. Are you trying to like build up new voices in like Santa Rosa, or like start from scratch there, or do you not know kind of like all the voices that may appear and also kind of be active right now?
Well, so I would say that the literary scene of Santa Rosa, California, there is one. Like we have a Sonoma County Poet Laureate, and out in Sebastopol, there's an art center where they'll do like poetry readings and poetry salons. And I know that I know a couple high school teachers who incorporate like poetry and contemporary poetry and performance poetry into their curriculum. And there's like an open mic scene that's like welcoming of poetry, and like,
but it's not strictly for poetry.
Yeah. And there's like an older arts community up there for sure. Like Napa and Sonoma County wine country has like definitely been a place for people to like seek refuge and like kind of have more acreage and explore and stuff. But that's like a very specific kind of literary scene, you know what I mean? And it's like Santa Rosa, I don't know what the fuck the youth culture is in Santa Rosa, right? Because it's like pretty dispersed, it's pretty expensive, and like it feels like most people who live there kind of can't wait to leave there. after a certain point.
Yeah,
but there's just like
the median age skews much older.
Yeah,
right?
you know what I mean? But it's like, and it's weird because it's like you have the Bay Area, which is kind of going through its own process of like maybe being less hospitable to like young creatives than it used to be.
Yeah.
And then you have Marin County, which is just this like huge wedge of like high income family focused living. Like there's not a lot of like cool fringe shit happening in Marin. And then you have Sonoma County, which is like interesting because there's actually been like these like long-standing like undercurrents of like DIY punk shows and house shows and all ages venues and like
cool.
kind of like a surprisingly thriving like queer scene. And I think like a big part of that is like we have like one of the most like accomplished junior colleges in the country, and then we also have Sonoma State University, which is kind of bleeding out right now. So that's like, I don't know what's going to happen with that, but there are like reasons for like young people to be in Sonoma County. But I don't know how many like unifying locations there are for them to gather and meet and share shit and like explore creative outlets.
Do you find like the people who are interested in slam poetry the most kind of have a lot of exposure when they're young, or is it like they develop this interest in college? Like where does that really start with the people who are super into it?
Well, I can't speak like in a broader context. Like I think I can only talk about it like in the context of the Bay Area.
Sure.
But like for instance, like I think a lot of accomplished performers, especially like spoken word performers that you'll meet in the Bay Area who are around like our age, like 30s, late 20s. Yep. I don't know how old you guys are.
We'll never tell you.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just going to guess. That's what
the
show now is. I just sit here and I guess how old you are.
Yeah, I might ask you to pick up some beer for me later.
Yeah, absolutely. There's an organization called Youth Speaks, which like I don't know if you guys have heard of, but it's like a really long-running nonprofit arts organization that brings like spoken word performance, hip hop, like all these different things for like kids. And it's like, I think they do it at schools, but I think they also have their own like hub where people can sign up for after school classes. And like starting in like middle school, you like learn how to do like spoken word poetry, hip hop, art, all this different stuff. But then as you sort of climb the ranks, you can stay on as like a mentor or a coach or a teacher. It's almost like the upstanding citizens brigade model, but for like youth spoken word poetry, where you run through the workshops and then you become the instructor.
Sure.
And then there's like, that's connected to this big network called Brave New Voices, which is an annual youth spoken word competition that's like national and like has been like, I think it got like broadcast on HBO once. I know Rosario Dawson was like so it's big. So like that's one avenue through it. So like a lot of my friends started when they were like 12 years old going to Brave New Voice or Youth Speaks and Brave New Voices and stuff, and like that like connected them to this huge network of like artists and performers that still exist and work in the Bay, and like kind of creates this like vision of like, oh, maybe I can like just like live here and do this and like get into education and get into performance and art and stuff. And then the other way is like there's just like a bunch of shows in the Bay Area that like I think used to be a bit better at their marketing, but like there's so many poetry slams in the Bay Area. There was the San Jose Poetry Slam. Santa Cruz has a poetry slam. Berkeley and Oakland both have their own poetry slams. You have the Ruckus Revival, which monthly has had like a long running. They just call it a slam because you can do like rap, you can do comedy, you can do poetry. But like there's that. And so there's like a lot of places that I think like, and then you have like like CSU East Bay, Stanford, San Francisco, UC Berkeley. Like you have a whole lot of reasons for a whole lot of like smart, articulate, creative, passionate young people to like be in this area, and then like just have these like places for them to go. So I think there's like a couple avenues for people to get into it.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's cool. And it's cool that there's now hopefully
drink some water.
Drink some water. Get right in
get
that mic.
Right up in there.
Before you get to your wet wontons later.
Extra saucy.
I had two trains of thoughts, but we didn't meet at Ruckus Revival, but that's where I saw you perform. which has gone through a few name iterations in the last few years.
Formerly Tourette's Without Regrets.
And then Ruckus and Rumpus.
Ruckus and Rumpus Revival. And then they just pared it down to the Ruckus Revival.
Ruckus Revival, which is great.
Yeah.
It was great. And that's been going on forever. And you've been performing there for how long?
My first I'm actually, so it's interesting. Their Valentine's show is this Thursday. That'll be the 14-year anniversary of me performing.
Of you performing
at the show.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So you started there when you were 12?
Yeah. I was 4 years old because I'm 18 now. No, my first performance there was 2011 at the annual Fuck Valentine's Day show. It went terribly.
Yeah, great.
It was a bloodbath, and I can tell the story about it. It's funny because, like, recently they don't let me go compete in the slam anymore, and like my ego tells me it's because like I keep winning the slam.
Now you're just a showcased person.
Yeah, they just like the organizer will hit me up and be like, "Hey, we have a show about this theme. Can you like write something? Like take your shirt off, scream, like whatever." And I'm like,
I've seen you do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it again this coming
right now.
Thursday.
Damn.
No, you guys are,
Please.
no, you have to pay me to take the show. That's how it works.
You can't arrange that.
Yeah, there you go. 2011, I was 19 years old. I had just moved back to California from Colorado, where I had spent a year in rehab for drug and alcohol usage. And I had gotten into writing and performing out there, and I was really bad at it because I was like 19 and like had received no like kind of instruction or mentorship or anything like that. I was just like, I can like.
Also, maybe your brain's rewiring a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of shit going on at that time for sure. But like basically like what it was is that for the past year I realized like I could just write whatever I wanted, and I could go to a place where there's a microphone and I could loudly yell it at people and they had to listen. Right, like
captive audience.
Like a hostage audience. Like. For 3 minutes, you're just going to listen to me.
Was it all about rehabilitation at that time? Was that what you were writing about?
No.
Okay.
So to get into the story, and this is like dreadfully embarrassing, but like
you're in a safe space.
I think I had some like pretty like unaddressed like anger stuff going on at the time too, and so I had written a poem, and it was a breakup poem. Because I was like, like breakup poems are passionate, and you're like, you've been slighted. The issue is that like I had never been in a relationship before.
What?
So I wrote like, I faked a breakup to write a poem about it.
That's fucking awesome.
And it was like weirdly like, I mean, it was 19-year-old like the word incel didn't exist yet.
Yeah.
But if I had like read that now, there's a little bit of like, I'm a nice guy. Like,
and it
sort
sounded
of
a little
going.
something like this.
Yeah, here we go. But so I did it at Ruckus, which was called Tourette's Without Regrets. It was my first time ever performing there.
Wow.
A friend of mine who I had met in Colorado was performing there, and he's like, I can get you on the list for the slam, come through. And I was like, so like kind of up my own ass. Like I hadn't really been exposed to like other people who were better than me. So like, it's like the Dunning-Kruger effect. Like in my head, I'm like, I'm pretty much like the best slam poet that's like ever lived.
You're 19.
You're 19 years old. Like
nothing left to learn.
Yeah, dude, I fucking rock. The people, the people at the coffee shop that I go to, they think I'm pretty good at this. So I went on stage and I did this poem, and I don't remember like anything about the poem other than I'm like, fuck you, like you broke my heart, like get off your high horse, fake person, like
wow.
And I like leave stage, and like it's a very quiet room, and there's like, and you've been to Ruckus before. It's rare for Ruckus to be quiet. And the host walks on stage and just goes, make some noise if you want to fuck that guy. And no one
Whoa! Was that Jamie?
No, I think it was Dave.
Okay.
Like he was trying to hype you up, or
Yes,
like was
I
it
think-
one more like dunk on
Dude,
you?
one or the other, right?
That was Wonder Dave. We got to get him on here too.
Dude, Wonder Dave
Dave's
is, and Baruch.
Yeah.
Baruch is a treasure. But yeah, no, so they were just like, make some noise if you want to fuck that guy. And it was dead silent. And then two of my friends that I had brought with me just went,
Support.
Yes.
You need it.
So
This is a show that like people understand the etiquette of like cheering too.
Dude,
Like
I
very
was-
supportive.
I mean, and
you
that's
must have
why
been so bad.
dude, I tanked.
I wonder if they were
hard.
like, that guy clearly has never been in a relationship.
That. Well, yeah, that guy's never.
Yeah,
What the
touched
fuck is he
anybody.
talking about? But yeah, like I, because I was like newly sober. I was doing everything wrong besides not drinking and doing drugs at the time, right? Like had not been in therapy, had not really like developed proper social skills because I had spent my teen years like in and out of rehabs and then like drinking a lot. So it's like, when are you going to build the skills to do it? And I definitely had like a entitled chip on my shoulder, right? Like that, like felt like the world owed me something, and so I was gonna make them listen. And I think that was like a really important humbling.
Where did that come from? Because I know there's a bit you've done.
Where
some,
did the chip on my shoulder about the world owing me something
Yeah.
came from? Oh damn, we're getting into it. I thought this was a banter podcast.
I mean, we're gonna make fun of it.
yeah. Whatever you say, it's dumb.
Yeah.
I mean that's a
And
good.
feel free not to get into it, but also
No, it's
in
fair.
Googling you, I'm like, oh, this you were doing things as a kid.
Yeah,
You've been an artist your whole life.
Yeah, well, I don't know where the chip on my shoulder came from. I think what it was is, my dad died when I was 13 in a car accident, and then the day before my freshman year in high school started, and then I went into high school and like spent the next 2 years kind of getting like the shit kicked out of me by like bullies in high school, and like had no real outlet to like vent or like process or talk to, and like. Around that time, I had started drinking and using drugs pretty heavily too.
Johnny, make fun of it. Say something funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What do you got, dude? Riff.
Yeah. You look like the type of guy that I would bully in high school.
Yeah, there you go, dude.
And I was the one getting bullied. So
Yeah.
That's
bullies
extra.
are often once bullied.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what they
and
say.
I think I was like a bit of a bully.
Were you a bully
to-
yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's-
I mean, you
fucking
like I
happens.
get bullied, and like I have no coping tools to like deal with that, and so I just automatically I'm like, well, who can I give this feeling?
Who's lower
to?
on the
Yeah,
rung?
exactly.
I
So
tried it once. I literally remember the moment. This is like Harry Potter looking kid, who I think I was even friends with that once. But I was like, I'm gonna try out bullying today, and I pushed him, and the PE teacher saw it, pulled me to the side, just yelled at me relentlessly. I never bullied
Oh
again.
my god! So
Yeah.
you're doing
Was it-
physical bullying.
I
think
that
verbal
worse?
bullying is like way more traumatic.
But
honestly.
to bring it all together, like I think just like a bunch of shit happened like right when I was like, I mean, I'd already like I was like a kid who had been diagnosed with ADHD and like had already been like getting in trouble at school and like was defiant oppositional. But then like you had like dad bullying, drugs and alcohol, and then like no. And like total resistance to like therapeutic intervention. Like I didn't want anybody to help me. Like, and I had no coping skills. And like you just let me cook for like 4 years. I do think that like metastasizes into a pretty like negative self-centered viewpoint of like the world, right? Where it's just like, I've just experienced a lot of hurt. I'm bitter about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to make that your problem. So like,
Fascinating.
yeah, I just felt like
was that equals incel.
yeah. I do. I mean, I think like it's weird. Like I definitely do not hold that like viewpoint anymore. But like I think at the time, yeah, when I was like that age, like if you had sat me down and forced me to admit it, I'd be like, yeah, I feel like the world owes me something.
Yeah,
you
that
know,
sounds fucking
and like
upsetting.
yeah. And I mean, very lonely, very isolating. I wasn't doing great. Like again, like I was like 3 months sober, maybe when
Yeah.
I first did.
That's fresh.
Or like close to maybe like a year, but like 19 years old. And like, but that is to say, like that experience at like Ruckus was like super humbling. Like it was mortifying, but like probably in the best way, because like up until that point, I was just like, I'm like the shit, and like you need to listen to me. And I think that was like sort of reflective of like, I feel powerless. I need to like find a way to feel powerful. I need to be the center of attention. And going to Ruckus and seeing such like a well-established show, like 400 to 800 people are there, like every month, and like seeing people that like I respect who are obviously better than me like doing that stuff, and like to just go up there and eat shit so hard like it like kind of dislodged something in me where I'm like, oh, like maybe I need to like chill, like maybe I like should learn how to do this. So I think and like getting sober kind of goes hand in hand with like learning humility. So I'm pretty sure like my sponsor at the time was like, you got to figure out how to like check your ego. And then like you go there and just get fucking kicked in the teeth. And you're like, all right, like,
Wow.
Let's-
It's better
up.
that you had that experience.
dude, can you imagine if I went up there 19 years old and just,
Wait, what if he? What if he killed it?
just
Totally.
crushed?
Oh my god, you'd be insufferable.
yeah, I'd be the worst dude ever.
We're so happy that you were really
Well,
this really brought you down.
I think one of the things that happens though too is like because I value like eating shit as much as I do, because like it still happens, like not as much with like the poetry stuff, and I think like it's like one, I've been doing it 15 years, so hopefully if I'm performing I kind of have a good like natural sense of the audience and how to like, you know, manage the energy and like what's gonna
You're
work.
very good at that. I had you on a puppet show recently.
Yeah.
And I was just showing Johnny because we filmed. It was filmed.
Oh,
I
really?
didn't even realize my friend sent it to me.
Sweet.
But yeah, your ability to engage audiences, like, it's amazing.
It's a learned skill, and like I appreciate like I can banter beforehand,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but it's like, you know, like anytime I try something new, like, you know, I've tried stand up, sketch. I'm doing interpretive dance at Ruckus next week.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
You're all over the place.
yeah, and it's like anytime I go out there, like I kind of just anticipate like, oh, okay, I'm gonna like fall flat on my face. Like,
Okay.
I'm gonna learn a lot, and it's gonna feel bad, but like this is sort of part of the process. And like I've noticed, especially around spoken word poetry, people starting out like may not feel the same way about like really tanking or really bombing. Like I think typically people who write and perform poetry have a certain level of sensitivity, and I think what they want is someone to come up to them and be like, your words changed my life. And like fair enough, like I get it, that was exactly what I wanted at the time. So it's like I think especially coming into a position where like I'm gonna run a show now, I need to be sensitive to the fact that like if I'm inviting kind of newcomers in, young people in, people who might be kind of like I was, which is like a chip on their shoulder masking a deep hurt, like I can't just be like, yeah, win some you lose some.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
totally.
Like I kind of have to
Build
figure
them up.
out an approach to both like reinforce this idea of like, no, like sucking is how you get better.
Yeah.
But also like not being a callous dickbag about it. Like I'm not gonna go on stage at my poetry slam and be like, make some noise if you want to fuck that guy.
Yeah. God damn you, Dave.
I find that like in stand up, you know, there's so many small weekday open mics that like even if you're an accomplished stand up, like you can go and bomb in a safe space and like just get it out of your system.
Yeah.
But you're kind of taking the approach where like I'm gonna go in like one of these bigger stages.
Oh, not anymore.
Okay.
Dude. No way. Like
Well, interpretive dance at Ruckus
Yeah, this is
Revival.
not
oh
something-
yeah,
Is
but
that your
that's just gonna be a hit. You know what I mean?
All right. He's not changed at all.
No, I mean, so it's the worst sex ever competition. So audience members write down the worst sexual experiences they've ever had. We choose like 3 or 4 of them and recreate them through interpretive
Oh,
dance.
great.
Like
Oh,
it's a that's
okay.
a recipe for success.
It's already
Yeah, you
set up to
can't-
be good.
yeah,
fuck
like
that
I'm
up.
not like coming in and being like I've created an autobiographical.
Got
like,
it.
Nor are you dancing.
No,
it's
you were-
interpretive acting.
There's a little bit. I mean, they're gonna play music.
Okay,
There's
so you're gonna be okay.
What's
I see.
that song by Imogen Heap? It's like, what you say?
Okay.
Like
Yeah, I
I
know what
feel
you
like
mean,
there's
yeah.
gonna be some like
It sounds like gold. This is gonna be fun.
yeah, it's good. They do it every year. Like so, it's a tried and true formula.
Okay.
But yeah, if I was gonna be like, oh, like I want to give stand up like an earnest attempt, like I'm not hitting up like Ruckus and being
Sure.
like, give me a feature slot. Like I'm definitely gonna go to like the Barrel Proof Lounge in Santa Rosa for their open mic night and just really eat it. Like
Yeah.
just
with your poetry, how much are you editing it? Right? Like, would you perform it and then perhaps like edit it depending on how you felt about it
Yeah.
Like
after?
stand up.
Like stand up. Like I'm
yeah,
curious
definitely.
about that process.
Well, so like I mean, as a general rule of thumb, like the demand for spoken word poetry is so much smaller than the demand for stand up, which just means like your opportunities to do it are farther and fewer.
I'm gonna let you. You're the word
yeah,
guy.
yeah, you're the linguist.
Far and few between, right? Like,
Yes,
yeah, it's just so it's
correct,
like
sir.
the opportunities to like perform spoken word poetry in a context where it's like, oh, this matters. Like this isn't
Yep.
just like an open mic or something like that. it's less. And also, like, I'm really, really kind of selective about where I want to do like poetry for like two reasons. One, like, I want my performances to be well received, right? And it's like, I think there's attitudes about poetry, but poetry demands like a certain level of attention that like just certain environments, like, I don't think like cater to that, right? And so it's like, I'm not gonna go to like just a open mic in like a random bar and be like, here's a poem. You know what I mean? Like, I versus like, I think stand up, there's a little bit more flexibility with that, because you can like improvise, you can adapt way more during a stand up set. Like, if I'm halfway through a poem and they're not digging my poem, like, I can't be like, time to switch the second half.
Trying to improvise.
But it's like,
the
if
rest
you're
of the poem.
doing stand up and you're like, okay, the first two jokes about this topic didn't really work, like, let's see how they
other
feel.
material.
Yeah, so it's like,
yeah, you're kind of fucked in poetry.
you're definitely fucked.
You just gotta
dude.
finish it.
Well, it's like a roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
It's just strap in and you see at the end. You know?
Are
what
you
I mean?
ever changing the
I mean,
wording, the
yeah,
inflections?
I think I'm often changing the wording and the
In
inflections.
mid
yeah,
poet-
definitely.
Oh,
Or I'll
wow.
doing like little asides or something. Like,
sure, putting in tagging a line.
So do you write your poems to be performed, or do you kind of like just write out your poems and then figure out, how am I going to express this, whether it's certain inflections,
I think,
certain parts? Like, how do you think about that when you're writing it?
and then I got to check in on the dumplings after.
Yeah. Dumplings are most important, not your creative
Oh, no,
process.
they just messaged me. Hold on.
Okay.
You gotta
Sorry.
get those dumplings.
Simone is on her way. Just
great.
so you guys know.
Okay.
Great.
We have
Oh, she's 19 minutes away. I ordered
That's
dumplings
so
from
far.
Berkeley.
Okay, great.
So my bad, Simone.
I studied abroad in Shanghai, and we would always go out to eat, and we would be like, let's go get some dumps and nudes. 'Cause
Dumps
it was
and nudes.
dumplings
Dude,
and
I
noodles.
call dumplings dumpies sometimes.
Dummies.
And I think that's probably my like worst personality trait.
just taking like
I think the worst thing about
Cuisine
me is
and-
that I'll call it dumpies.
Dumpies.
dumpies. Wow, that's a pretty. If that's the worst
I'm
thing
gonna
about
put some
you,
dumpies in my wet
Then
little
you're,
mouth.
you're good. My
Um,
friends and I had a dumpling party once where it was dinner and then dessert, so you get to bring whatever you wanted, and then it was gonna end up in a dumpling before we steamed it. That's a dumpling, right? It's steamed.
No, you can do pan fried
You can do
dumplings.
Okay, we didn't pan fry it. Yeah, it was steamed. Am I thinking of something? Not a wonton.
Dumps
That's
come-
also fried.
Wontons are you can because there's wonton soup.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah,
you
that's
can like
true. It doesn't
steam
have to be
it.
fried.
I don't know. I
dumps
think,
come in
Anyways,
all
I made a
shapes and sizes.
PB and J dump, and it was fucking great.
dude,
It was a good dumpy.
PBJ Dumpy.
Yeah.
That's my new rap name.
Oh my
PBJ
god!
Dumpy.
Should we start like a food truck where we just have like bizarre dumplings?
Bizarre dumplings.
Yeah,
People would
can it
love
be
it.
called Dumpies?
It's got to be called
Dumpies,
dumpies.
yeah.
Yeah.
a little shit.
Is dumpies with a Y or an IE? I feel like it works better if it's an IE.
Dumpy.
Dumpy.
I don't know.
I mean,
have to
you're
see
the-
it. I'd have to see it spelled out in front of me.
Do you like to create words? Like, because you're such a wordsmith.
I don't know. Maybe. Sometimes.
Maybe sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like think about it? Like, oh, there should be a better way to express this thing.
Sometimes, like, you know, there's like tricks you can do with performances that like get people more engaged, and like sometimes you can take a noun and turn it into a verb, and people are like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
that's like interesting, you know, where it's like, I mean, this is like a really cringe example, but it's like, I think the most accessible one, which is like adulting, is like the
Right.
example
Yeah.
of taking a noun and turning it into a verb. And so
Shakespeare was quite good at it.
Shakespeare, E.E. Cummings too, a more contemporary example. He invented like a bunch of words.
Bunch of
James
modern-
Joyce did too.
A friend of mine
Joyce.
did. He's a rapper, and he said Pepe Le Pewin.
That's sick. You know who
In his-
probably is like I would say the top two most like original wordsmiths then is like probably like Mac Dre and E40.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
the level of slang that E40 has created just from like a modern vernacular is like impressive. And
I wonder sometimes how much, like the vocabulary bank of a rapper relative to like, I don't know, our current president, or just like some people that are in public spaces who talk a lot. Like, it's got to be vastly different, right? Or like
it's a different dictionary.
also
right?
different.
At the end of the day.
There's also different types of rappers too. Some of them are not as lyrical.
There was a professor who did a study on this, where they did a study of like the number of words used by Shakespeare, and then compared it to like modern rappers based off of that.
What were the results?
Oh boy, I think like Ghostface Killah was really high up there.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then number one was this guy Aesop Rock.
Oh yeah,
who's like underground dude. But yeah, words are cool, dude.
Words are cool. The English language is very beautiful.
Yeah. I think if we're gonna dive into like word stuff, I gotta eat these dumpies first. Like I'm noticing, I'm like trying to track, and I'm like, okay, like what's a good bit about like words, and like I'm starting to fade a little.
Yeah, and we're gonna put you on the spot.
And that's on me. I should have eaten
words.
before I got here.
It's okay.
You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay.
It was a far drive.
I'm gonna make 10 new words before I leave. Jordan, you can't eat your dumpies before you make 10 new words.
I think so. We've done 2 shows together recently.
We have.
One of them was this puppet improv comedy show, variety show thing I put on, and the other one was Ruckus, which we were talking about. I did poetry at Ruckus.
Did you? Oh, you did the dirty haiku
I did
battle.
dirty haiku, which I like. My experience with poetry is so small. I can probably count the number of poems I've written in one hand in my life. It was so hard writing for that. And then just like refining and then asking people, they're like, what do you think? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should it be more about this or that? And then I scratched it all last minute and then just did all new ones, of which like I got close. I mean, I
got close. It was quite good. I was
like
your biggest fan.
It was like 2 to 3. Thank you.
Yeah, you did lose.
I did lose.
But you're number one in my heart.
I think the dirty haiku battle is like the most nerve-wracking thing I've done at Tourette's. That or the
Really?
freestyle rap.
That's fucked then. I should have just done stand up there instead.
Yeah, the freestyle battle and the haiku battle are like I've done every like possible iteration of things you can do at Ruckus, and the haiku battle fucking sucks to prep for.
It's hard.
Dude. It sucks.
It's fucking hard.
Especially when it's like they have like you're going against like a person who's been like winning it for the past like
That's exactly what happened.
6 months. Like I went up against Irene 2, who is the longest running like
winner?
haiku champion ever.
Do you know how long by chance?
Yeah, like 18 months.
That's
like
not
it was
fair. That's not
bananas.
fair.
And like the worst part, it was like
No
for the
chance.
Valentine's show, and we like agreed not to like make fun of each other too much, and like I was dressed as Cupid, and I just went on, and one of Irene's fucking haikus was Jordan dresses like Cupid so he has an excuse to shoot black people. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, dude, my stuff is about like buttholes, and like I'm like, I don't have any response for this.
Oh, you lost that one.
Dude,
You
yeah.
lost that
Hard.
immediately.
Like,
Jesus.
yeah. So
That sucks for you.
Wow.
yeah, it's a terrible time.
You
But
have
another
any poetry experience?
I have zero poetry
Zero,
experience.
zero,
I think
okay.
I've wrote a couple.
Did
like,
you
in
help me write
college.
one? No, or you at least looked up some of my stuff?
Yeah, I like
Okay.
glanced through it, screened through it,
Sure.
just to make sure it was like good.
Yeah.
And then I gave you my feedback, and you still lost, so it didn't help.
Sure.
That's all right.
But
I should
no.
have asked you. Well, I didn't know you at the time.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever come back, I can help you with something.
Okay, great. I like that.
Do you review other people's poetry a lot? Like,
What do you mean?
I don't know. Do people send you their stuff and be like,
Hey,
hey,
is
like
this
give me
any
some
good?
No.
tips and pointers? Is that
Not
something?
yet.
Okay.
I
not
feel
yet.
like if this poetry slam is successful, which I hope it is, like I do feel like it probably comes with the territory that
Sure.
like people will DM like the poetry slam account with like poems.
Okay.
And I think it's my job to be encouraging and gracious. Like I don't think it's like
You're gonna be bad at giving notes, is what you're saying.
I mean, it'd be weird if someone just like hit up a poetry slam account and be like, "Can you give me edits
Sure,
on
sure,
this?"
sure.
Right?
No, but people are gonna come to you because you're the guy now. Like, right there.
Yeah.
Not just be the account, but like
Well,
walking up to you afterwards.
It actually makes me really nervous when like people ask me for like critiques on their poems. Not that I think like I'm necessarily like I'm definitely not like an authority, a scholar. Like an analyst or anything like that. You know, like I have like a bachelor's degree in like analysis of literature, but like I'm definitely not as like deep in being able to parse apart like the structure, form, and content of a poem or anything like that. And like, you know, I've gotten published a couple places.
Yep.
I've like been able to perform and have it well received. So like something I'm doing works kind of sometimes.
You published a whole book.
Yeah, I got a
of
book
poems.
published about there
That's-
being worms in my brain. I should have brought you guys copies.
Oh yeah, it's okay. We'll buy
Yeah,
some
buy a
copies
buy a
and support
copy.
you.
Worms in your brains?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hold
like
on, wait,
RFK
so
style?
So I wrote the book right before RFK came out and talked about there being worms in his brain.
What are you
Oh
guys
my
talking about?
gosh.
I wrote a book of poetry.
Yeah, but I don't know about this RFK thing.
Robert Kennedy.
Yeah, but what
he
about
has
his
a
brain?
dead worm in his brain.
Yeah, he's got worms in the brain.
He used to have like a worm in his brain.
And
For realsies?
Yeah, and
Yeah, yeah.
people.
I think he got it from eating like bad meat or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
you.
Crap.
Yeah, and
I've heard about that with
People
sushi.
like usually attribute kind of his wackiness sometimes to the worm in his brain, but he'll openly talk about it.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
this isn't
And
like
he's
a-
like, I take no medicine.
and he's literally like still like, isn't he? They're still trying to confirm him for the CDC, and he's just like,
Yeah.
yep, like dude, I got worms in my brain.
Yeah. They're like, shouldn't you
But
figure
he's
that out?
dead, so I know what I'm doing. You know? Like, but anyway, people asking me for feedback on poems. I'm like in a couple like groups with my friends. My friend who is a poet, who is actually the poet laureate of San Ramon, and like
How does one get that title?
you get like confirmed and elected by city council.
Whoa.
Yeah, but she is the poet laureate of San Ramon. She is the former like host of the Berkeley Poetry Slam. She's like, you guys should honestly get her on the show because she's way better at writing than I am. Her name's Jazz Sufi. Shout out Jazz. Her and I, we got like a little writing workshop where we
That's
like
awesome.
give each other like criticism and feedback. The problem when like someone, especially someone new, comes to you with like a poem who you like don't really know, or
Yeah.
like worse, like you know really well, but you know like they don't really write a lot of poetry, comes to you with a poem, is like chances are it's going to be earnest and like not very good. And like that's
Sure.
okay. That's where everybody starts.
It's part of the process. Yeah.
But like you kind of got to like figure out like when someone's asking you for like what do you think, like are they just looking for you to be like, whoa, like I can't believe you like wrote this thing, like
Yeah.
way to be expressive,
You gotta
that's
ask.
awesome. You know, like I like that you know the moon is in it, like great job, like keep writing. You know, or are they actually looking for like, hey, what do you seriously think about this as like a piece of writing? And then it's like, you know, like again, like I'm not an expert, but I feel like I can give feedback.
Sure.
And, like sometimes you'll misread it and you'll be like, this doesn't work, like this thing
Yeah.
right here, and you can just kind of see on their face that what they were really hoping for is for you to be like, no
Aw.
notes, I love you,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
keep doing this, you
Aw.
know. So I get nervous when people I don't know, or who I know but like don't really write a lot, like kind of
Sure.
unprompted try to share poetry with me, because I'm just like,
Whoa.
oh man, this has
Yeah.
just thrown me into a social dynamic that I'm like now needing to like figure out how to get through without like hurting anyone's feelings.
Who's making a good poet? How do you make a good poet from nothing? Like, who makes the best version of that? Is it people coming out of like writing literature? Is it people? Is it stand-ups? Is it?
Oh man, I gotta qualify, like I am not like an authority
Sure.
on that, you know what I mean? Like what makes a good poet? I don't know.
Or people coming out of rehab and people with.
I mean, I think I
It's
got
gotta just be deeply personal, right?
yeah,
Like,
well, and you know, it's funny, like most of like a lot of the like contemporary poets, but also like novelists and stuff who are like winning big awards, like came up through Poetry Slam. There's a guy, Sam Sachs, who like is really, really cool. He runs like a reading series that's happening like this Tuesday. This thing isn't dropping this week. February 18th. If you're watching
Perfect.
from home, you fucking missed it, dog.
Oh my
But like
God, losers.
they
No,
like
our
you know
audience
he
is
started in like Poetry Slam, and like now like he just had a book come out through McSweeney's and stuff. So I think there's like a lot of merit to it, but I have no idea what makes a good poet. I think it's like a passion and curiosity for poetry, and then like patience and willingness to really beat your head against a wall as you kind of learn like the craft and technique of either written poetry or performed poetry.
Which is not always overlapping, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like it does for the most part.
Really?
Well, I mean, like, I think like a lot of people, well, especially like there's this like publishing company called Right Bloody Publishing that like I think used to be like a lot bigger, but they still put out books, and it's like they mainly will do like book contracts with spoken word slam poets, and then like Button Poetry I think is like the most well-known example. They had like all the viral spoken word poems, and they like seem to have like leveraged that into like an independent press where they've put out like chapbooks and books of poems. And I think they've just opened up like a fiction contest and stuff. But it's like even me, like when me and my friends were first starting out in Berkeley, you know, like we would go to Kinko's and like print versions of our poems and like staple them together into like a little chapbook pamphlet that we could sell for $10.
Oh, that's cool.
Because like, you know, like the performance is like immaterial. You can't really sell the performance. And so if someone comes up and goes, "Hey, I really like your poem," you can be like, "Well, you should give me $10 and like I'll give you this little pamphlet."
I like that.
Yeah.
Do you have any poems that, you know, you won't publish or that you like write just for yourself?
And then just put it in the fire right afterwards.
Yeah. I wrote one yesterday that I don't think is ever going to get published.
Is it because like of the quality, or is like it's just too personal and it's like you don't want to?
It's just fucking weird. Like
we fucking love
it's all
weird
kink.
stuff.
It's all kink.
no, I'll read it to you guys.
Yes, we
Love
would
that.
love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the last one I heard you, which the one I just showed Johnny, the last one I heard you do was about witches and your.
Oh yeah, I did do the witches poem at your puppet show.
It was so good. You brought down
That
the
was
house.
amazing.
It's
It's
also like
the
Jesus
horniest poem I've
give
ever
me
heard.
a fucking some forewarning that you're going to be the funniest person at a comedy show and the only person who's not a comic.
I think what it is when you hear like I think I would be bad as a stand-up comic, because if you introduce me and say, "Hey, he's going to do some stand-up," and I come in, like the bar is like, "Okay, this is someone who like at a certain professional capacity knows how to be funny."
Yeah.
But if you're like, "This guy's a poet," they're like, "Okay, poetry, like
And then
intense, emotional." And I come in and like kind of like I just feel like the bar is way lower and I can
interesting.
kind of step over it, which is why like I don't say I do stand-up comedy.
But
I
you're
like, do
certainly
poetry,
writing
but
a
then
line.
but then I like banter with people.
Yeah.
You know, like I came out at your show and was just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here, and like got some laughs and like had the thing about like my Fitbit and my heart rate going crazy.
Yeah, you were writing jokes. I mean, yeah.
But like I think as much as I would like to be like, yeah, I could be a stand-up, I think what it is if you introduce someone as a spoken word poet, automatically in people's brain they're just like, okay, like a sensitive little guy, like
So you think
an
like
emotionally intense person is about to come out on stage.
So do you think like the appearance is like a little prohibitive? Like, oh, you've been doing this for so long, to introduce yourself as now a stand-up, then maybe people can't like get over that?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I've done some stand up and like gone to open mics and stuff like that. I think what it is like I just like, as much as I like bantering and writing jokes and stuff, there's something kind of addictive about just having a pre-rehearsed set, like literally a script that I'm holding in my hand that I'm reading.
You could be the poet in stand up.
Poet
I could
stand-up
totally
comedian.
see
Yeah, that's
you showing up at any stand up showcase and doing your thing.
like some
and killing
avant-garde
it.
comedy.
Yeah, people would be like, "This is fucking great," and it also breaks the monotony of stand up a little bit.
Oh, Simone
Really does.
is 2 minutes away with the dumplings.
Ooh.
Okay, how long does it take to read this poem?
Oh, it's really short.
Okay, great.
I mean, okay.
Also,
it's-
I can go get it while you're doing the thing.
Dude, it is really short. So like this isn't like a performance thing. It's just like
let's hear it.
it's called winner's mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And it just goes, I could probably kiss 3 people in this deli on the back of the neck, just above their collars before I'm noticed. 7 before I'm asked to leave. But what if I don't? What if I go for broke? I'd be on the Wednesday side of 15 before things get physical, and by then, it's already over. I'd live forever, like a surgical scar, or the phantom sensation of dog shit on the bottom of a shoe. So, like, I don't think that one's getting like
Wow.
published anywhere. You know what I mean?
That's ethereal.
Oh my gosh. I'll print that out and
What
put it on my
the
wall.
hell inspired that?
Yeah, I'm very curious. Like, is that in the moment? Like, did you walk
I was
into a
hanging
shop?
out at my siblings' house yesterday, and they were working on homework, and like I try to do a free write every day to kind of keep it, and like
You're fresh.
weird shit happens when you're like weird shit happens for me when I hold myself to a discipline, because it's like it used to be like, okay, I'll write when I'm inspired,
Sure.
but when you write because it's time to write, you're like, okay, what are we thinking about?
Yeah.
And like I guess like my head was just at like doing something socially unacceptable
Sure.
in a public place, but like also being like, okay, like what, like I don't want it to be like super like perverse. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna like shit in this deli. It's
Right,
like, what if it's like something like you're just like running around like
Getting away with a little bit.
kissing people, and it's just like it would take a second for it to register for other people that this is like not an appropriate thing to do.
I can
Yeah.
see why
Right.
you dabbled in sketch. Jordan, when's the last time you let her rip?
car this.
You let her rip
right
in
now,
the
yeah.
car this morning?
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to let her rip again.
Oh, we're farting live.
We're farting live. There's another way to let it rip.
Oh, are we Beyblading?
We're Beyblading. You recognized it right away.
Yeah, absolutely.
You knew.
Our
Do you
last guest had no idea.
Yeah, he's like,
this
what the fuck is
was."
it? He's also probably 10 years your senior.
That's fair.
How
How deep are you guys in the Beyblading? Like,
I know it's
do you kit
Coming
it
back
out?
up.
Like, are you like buying the custom mods and shit
no.
like
Oh,
that?
you know about you're in the scene.
I got onto Beyblade TikTok for a little while.
Ah,
And there was people like really breaking down.
things are
some
coming
shit
back. I want to see you wonton and Beyblade.
at the same
Ooh,
time.
same time.
Did you only get 4 little dumplings?
No, dude.
Okay, I was like, damn. All of that for
That's
fucking
not enough dumps.
I'm trying to. I don't want to like make it messy on the table, so I'm just gonna do like one item at a
okay.
time.
All
And
sorts
you
of
get a
substances.
prize for those watching at home if you can count how many orders of things I got at the end of the
Okay, I'm
episode.
kind of excited
That's
now.
good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
but we call this segment Beyblading in the Bay with Bays.
with babes.
With
With
bay-
with bays.
Bays.
But we're babes?
Oh,
I don't know.
we're workshopping it.
Yeah, we're
Bay. We call this segment
Help us out, wordsmith.
Beyblading in the Bay with Babes.
Beyblading in the bay.
I think it
With
should be
babes.
Bays. I think it should be Bays. BAE.
Hey, they
S.
Beyblade on Bay Waves.
Hey they.
Hey they.
Hey, they Beyblade on Bay Waves.
With Beyblade.
Hey,
Hey, they.
baby.
Hey,
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 baby.
baby. Hey,
Hey, no.
baby.
Hey, baby.
Hey, baby.
They
They,
Beyblade
they Beyblade.
on Bay Waves.
They.
you're gonna be doing all sorts of stuff right now. You're gonna be eating wontons
You should feed him
Eating
a wonton
dumpies
while he lets
while
it rip.
he's letting them rip.
I'll let it rip.
Okay,
All
so
right, and if you lose,
have you ever done this? You've never done it.
okay, yeah, if you lose, you have to give up all of your dumplings.
Got it. And you have to leave.
You gotta go. Sorry, you gotta go.
You're not allowed. We're,
Gotta
the
get out of here.
interview's over. Fucking idiot.
All right, it's very simple. It's very simple.
Okay, ready?
It should you just put it on? Yeah, just.
You
put
just
that
said it
in,
was simple.
shove
What's
it
going
in.
on?
Yeah.
A little
lied
twist.
to
A little
me.
twist. All right, 3, 2,
Two,
1,
one.
go.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
I like-
Let's go. I can't remember what color I was. I think it was red.
No, I was red.
Oh, okay. I think you're winning. Oh no!
This
Come
is good.
on.
This one's good.
You're
Oh,
getting
this.
old.
Oh.
Ah,
Dude, now
nice.
my
Wow.
guy's just beating the shit out
I
of your
know.
dead
You're like
body.
double tapping me. Wow. That was quite
And
impressive.
That was fun.
Our a little dumpies.
And the dumps. Well done, Jordan.
Yeah. Okay, you get to stay.
You get to
Can I also grab a
stay.
paper towel?
You get
can
a
do
paper
whatever you
towel.
want.
Yeah. This is
You
fun.
just won.
Can I
you
just be a
won.
regular on
yeah.
this
Oh
show?
yeah.
totally.
Yeah. Don't you just want to eat dumplings and play Beyblades with us all day?
Is there a better Sunday afternoon than that?
No.
I went to a Texans game a couple weeks ago, and it was the one where Beyonce performed at the halftime,
Okay.
and the game was total shit.
Sorry, is there a professional sports team called the Texans?
There is, sir.
I never knew that.
Yeah, well, they're dog shit as a team and as a franchise.
Is it like a
and no one was creative enough in 2001 when the team was formed to come up with a better name. So they're just the Houston Texans, which is perhaps the lamest name after maybe like the Browns.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not much There's nothing creative going on there.
No.
No.
I like the Utah Jazz.
Oh, what a good
Because
name.
when I think Utah, I'm like,
The
yeah,
jazz.
jazz.
the thriving jazz scene.
Oh yeah, birth of jazz, Salt Lake City, Utah.
Do you think they're referring to music?
Yeah, I think it was
What
originally a New Orleans team, and then they
Oh, there
moved to
you go.
Utah, and they're like, let's just keep it.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's also the expression "all that jazz."
Or jazz hands.
Oh, let me chew my dumpling really
No, no.
I think all that jazz is also referring
about
to
the
the
music.
music.
What would the name of a North Bay football team be?
Dude, we got a couple.
Like Santa Rosa's team.
So we have we used to have a minor league baseball team called the Crushers.
Okay. What's
Then we have a
That's-
minor league baseball team called the Stompers.
okay?
Maybe it's not this
do,
the other way.
do you guys just stomp and crush things in Santa Rosa? You just
Here's the other
clomping
thing. We have a
around
minor
like
league hockey team called the Growlers.
Okay. I think a child wrote the name of all of the
yeah.
teams.
I think
Stomp,
you guys are a
crush,
bunch
growl.
of just like bears around.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. We got some coyotes up there.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
That's taken, but yeah,
That's a
cool.
common
Is,
one.
is there
The
one
wolves, the lobos.
There's an NHL team called the Phoenix Coyotes, I believe.
Nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I could
A
be wrong.
North Bay specific team. I don't know.
Yeah. Jordan, as you're taking this next bite, I want to read you a small passage from one of your poems.
Oh, great. Okay.
And I want you to describe this. I won't chase it down today. I will not wring its neck and break its slender body across my tongue. I have demanded so much I am not owed. I'll have lunch instead.
That was when he was 19 in front of Ruckus talking about his ex.
No, that
This
was
was written in 2020.
2020 in Bodega.
Bodega.
Yeah. which
Bodega
is like
Bay.
no, it's a magazine. It's like an online
Ah.
magazine called Bodega. It's like your literary corner store.
Okay.
Okay, you read it. What else?
I want to know.
That's awesome.
I want to
Like,
know.
What do you want?
I want to know what that means. I want to know kind of like
Who are you talking about?
yeah, who's your audience in that one, but also
Okay.
what was in your head. I just want to like
Yeah.
diagnose that for me.
Diagnose. Let's pathologize poetry. Let's fucking.
I mean,
do
that's what you kind of do for a living. Is this correct? A little bit.
it. Maybe.
Okay. That's not,
Um,
is that not
There's
something
got
we're
to be
saying
some
out
meaning
loud?
behind this that I'm not understanding because I am a poetry,
Yeah.
virgin.
Yes,
So
yeah.
I think so. There's a term called the occasion of a poem, and like the occasion of the poem is like the instance that inspired the poem or what the poem is about, right? And so popular occasions can be like grief or the death of a loved one or falling in love or
Pretending to
wedding.
be in love and pretending to have a breakup.
yeah, there
Yeah.
you go, right? Pretending to have your heart broken is a compelling occasion for a poem. Sorry, a little burp
You're good.
came up,
You're
so I
good.
didn't want to like burp directly into the microphone.
that could be part of the poem, though,
Yeah.
right? Like the spoken word part.
You know, it was a good interview, except for the wet chewing and the burping. I could have done without that. Although on the other side, someone else could be like, "I hated this interview, but it was saved by the wet chewing
Saved by
and the
the
burping
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And the Beyblades, obviously.
and the Beyblades."
Also, total knockoff.
Oh, yeah.
Beyblades.
Chinese knockoff of
Chinese
Beyblades.
knockoff Beyblades. That's
Yeah.
what's up, dude. I have some like Chinese knockoff low top dunks, so
Yeah.
everybody's got a little something. So, when reading a poem, one of the first things you can ask yourself is like, okay, what's the occasion of this poem? What the hell are they talking about, right? And I feel like in that poem, the occasion's listed in the title, which is just the poet finds himself quieted suddenly. And I think the occasion for me is like, it might have been like right before COVID. I'd like started getting into like meditating every morning, and it probably was like 2 or 3 weeks into doing that. And I like meditated one morning and came to and was just like, oh, like the chatter in my head just is like not here right now. And it felt like some gauze had been sort of like pulled up from my face, and I was like looking outside my window in like a shitty little like 2-bedroom apartment in Rohnert Park, but like it wasn't like this breathtaking view. It was just
Yeah.
like, oh, there's like a like dying maple tree that my like landlord planted there. But for some reason it was just like it felt like I was just actually seeing it versus mediating it through my own thoughts, and I'm like, this is crazy. So I just tried to like write in a way that recaptured that feeling, I guess.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Do you find that like a lot of your poetry kind of follows that creative inspiration process, or is it all just different, like whatever speaks to you in any given moment?
I don't know. I think there's like probably repeated patterns in my stuff, like dead dads show up a lot in like my writing. I wonder where that's about.
Watched a lot of Lion King when you were young.
Yeah. A lot of Hamlet.
Yeah.
A lot of like drugs, drinking, and like getting sober are like a repeated thing.
Sure.
God shows up there quite a bit, which is weird because it's like when I'm hanging out with my friends, I'm not just like constantly talking about like God killing my dad and like fucking like doing drugs or the pain of staying sober.
But all these things are in the back of your head all the time.
Like I like to think I'm a pretty well-adjusted, like integrated person at this point in my life. And yet like I sit down to write and I'm just like, I think of my father's corpse or something like that. I'm like, do I really? Like, because I don't know if I do.
It's another side of you.
I think, but like as a practice, I've been trying to turn more towards like things that make me joyful, things that like are like small little celebrations. Like it's just like
meditating's really gotten to you.
Yeah, it definitely has. Like I know you're trying to riff off that, but like honest plug, like meditation is
same
sick.
for me. My therapist too. He's like, I know it sounds weird, but he's like, you know, hippies really kind of got it right.
Yeah.
They're just fucking happy all the time.
Wow.
Like, isn't that what we all want? I'm like, man, I should just be a
dude,
hippie.
I started working out. I cut sugar out of my diet and I meditate in the morning and I just drink like water. And I'm like, I like regret to inform everyone, but like, I
you need to be happy.
I feel so fucking good right now.
Just Beyblading and wontoning and
that sounds
water.
so hard for me though.
yeah. Wow.
When are you gonna make a poem about your famous inclusion of a 2003 Pixar film?
Never. I'll talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
More than one Pixar film.
Yeah, I was in 2 Pixar films and a video game version of one of the films, which allowed me to get a Screen Actors Guild membership. So I'm a SAG member.
Do you get
Oh my God!
screeners?
Did you protest like last year?
I mean, I haven't acted since I was like 7.
Okay.
I'm trying to
So
like
you took part in the strike.
I'm like, they keep hitting me up because I owe them dues, and I'm like, I don't want to. Like, I'm not acting anymore. Like, I really don't want to do this.
You could reprise your old roles.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Just
Sounds
do,
like you're
maybe I could do Disney on Ice. Dress as my character.
I want to see you in like real tight clothing on ice. That sounds awesome.
For our listeners who do not know, Jordan was included as a guest actor in Finding Nemo, where you played which character again?
Tad, the
Dory.
yellow
Tad.
butterfly fish,
Tad. Okay.
who was a schoolmate of Nemo, who I'm pretty sure delivered the famous line, "He touched the butt."
He touched the butt.
you don't remember?
You don't remember
That's
what
a
you
pretty
said?
big line. Do we need to like verify this?
I'm pretty sure I rewatched it recently, and it was me who said he touched.
Oh
it.
my God!
But you probably said
That's
a bunch of
amazing.
things into a microphone.
Yeah.
And then they
I was
picked
like
out-
6 or 7.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like if I knew then what I know now, I would have like taken it way more seriously because I was like,
Really?
yeah, like getting paid to like do voice work in like a Disney movie is like, I feel like most people would murder me for that opportunity.
That you threw away
And I
with drugs and alcohol.
No, I remember I went and did the voice work for A Bug's Life, and I was like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Which
and
one
I
was
had
in that one?
I said I die.
That's I literally repeat that at least once a year.
Are you
Die.
kidding me?
Die.
yeah. So I did that one.
Fucking you. That's
That's
crazy.
insane.
I literally say that once a year.
So I did it, but I was like 4 or 5, so I had
Yeah.
like no conception of what was happening. Like
Right.
I did not know that I was doing like that. The words I was saying were going to end up in a movie.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
I'm
Your
just a little
dad just
kid.
put you in
I had
front
just,
of a mic.
Yeah, I had just like finished like I had just learned how to like shit in a toilet like a year ago.
Surely.
And like
yeah.
here I am in like a recording studio with like adults I don't know, like trying to bribe me with jelly beans to talk into a mic. And like all I remember about
Say
that,
you died.
all I remember about that is like crying and being like, "Why am I here?"
Oh no!
But I remember,
Traumatic.
I guess right afterwards, they're like, "Hey, like we like your kid. Like, does he want to like do the voice for young Tarzan in the Disney movie Tarzan?"
What the hell?
And like my dad was like, "Let me ask you, Jordan, do you want to do this?" And I was like, "No." And like, if I like looking back, I'm like, my dad's an asshole. Like, you should have definitely just been like, "Yes, he'll
You're
do
doing
that."
that. Yeah. Wow, he gave you
That's
autonomy.
crazy.
Yeah, dude,
When you
don't
shouldn't have got
know.
it.
Don't
know at that
You know what?
age.
Pageant moms have a point.
That is the name of this episode.
yeah. That's wild. I was just in that studio recently. We have a friend that works as the caster for voice actors there, so we could get
really?
you back in if you're looking for some
But
voice
you
work.
have to do the kid voices.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't do.
everybody.
Yeah, you still got it.
It's me.
If we have you back on and we write some dialogue for young Tarzan,
Can we do a table read?
Oh my gosh! How about
You're doing it.
How about we write a
Tarzan
script for a new young Tarzan film?
Yeah.
It's me, young Tarzan.
There's clearly
Where's
a 30-some-year-old.
This is my friend. He's a monkey.
Fuck yes, that's
Yeah.
so good. That's wild. Wow. And your dad did what?
He was a founding member of Pixar.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wild.
So like he was like part of
As
the
an animator.
Kinda. So he went to Cal Arts for animation and got hired by Disney out of Cal Arts for his animation. But I'm pretty sure by the time he worked at Pixar, because Pixar
Wait,
is
hired by Walt?
yeah, the man himself. No, just
Okay.
like the
Walty?
company, the corporation.
Yeah.
Like Cal Arts was and is probably still like a feeder school because it's like the most prestigious art, kind of like movie associated art school
Yeah, it's in Los Angeles, right?
Angeles.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they had like, I don't know, I'm speaking out of my ass, but it's like, it feels to me, if I remember correctly, like they have like one of the most prestigious like animation programs and they're near LA. So kind of a feeder school. So my dad didn't even graduate Cal Arts, just like one of his student films, some exec saw it and they're like, "Yep, hire him up. Like you're an
Wow.
assembly line animator now." And he worked on a bunch of Disney movies, but like he had like gone to college with like Tim Burton and Joss Whedon and like John Lasseter.
Wow.
And I'm fucking up the story. John Lasseter, if you're watching, I apologize for not remembering how this
He
went
loves
down.
this podcast.
But I
Joss
do know,
Whedon's
I know
close
that
friend.
like John Lasseter had like come in to start like Pixar and was trying to do like a 3D animated movie. And I'm pretty sure he pulled my dad, not to be an animator, but like a storyboard artist and a story guy. So like as soon as he was with Pixar, he stopped animating and he started doing like storyboarding.
Got
Was
it.
like his main thing. And then like writing and story supervision. So like he wrote like the original script for like The Corpse Bride. He like he co-directed Cars. He
Wow.
did like, I'm pretty sure he won like an Oscar along with everybody else for A Bug's Life because he was
Wow.
like on the story team
Right.
for A
Love-
Bug's Life.
Love that movie so much.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
That's
cool.
wild.
Yeah.
He had quite a career.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a bunch of shit. Like, he knew a bunch of people. It's, like, weird, man. Like, because I'll listen to, like, long-form interview podcasts sometimes. And sometimes, like, people will, like, mention my dad. And I'm like,
Wow.
what is happening
Yeah.
right now?
Wow,
So,
yeah.
That's kind of
pretty-
amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's also weird because, like, I didn't know him as, like, this famous dude. Like,
Yeah.
when he died, I was 13. He was just, like, this really tall dude who, like, taught me to ride a bike and, like, farted a lot. Like,
Yeah.
that was, like...
He let it rip.
It was like my dad let it rip hard, but like it was like this like
Beyblade.
I think he worked really hard to keep those two worlds separate. Like I knew he worked for
okay.
Pixar. I knew he did the voice for like Heimlich the Caterpillar and A
Right.
Bug's Life, the German one, and like. But I didn't really know that he was like a big deal because like he
Yeah.
would come home and just be like, "Do your homework.
Yeah.
Let's go ride a bike." Like,
Wow.
Let's go learn how to
He
fart.
was, like,
It's
also
interesting,
big
too,
into,
because
like-
he's not on camera.
yeah, he was also like big into meditation. Like we would go to Spirit
Oh,
Rock.
cool.
I don't know if you know what that is, but
No.
like Jack Cornfield, like a spiritual teacher, has this like meditation center out in West Marin. So we would like do that. We were going like road trips. So I was just like, yeah, that's my dad. He's just like a fucking dude, you know?
Yeah.
And then he died, and like Steve Jobs spoke at his funeral, and
Wow.
like
That's crazy.
Bonnie Hunt was like talking to me like at his funeral, and I'm like, dog, like mom from Cheaper by the Dozen, leave me alone. Like
That's so weird.
so it was
That's
like
so weird.
yeah, and so like yeah, I'll be listening. Like
You don't find out till later on how.
yeah, like and he
important
was
was
like
it
a
to film?
he was like a subject topic on Jeopardy once, and a book got written about him, and like
Did they interview you about the book? for the
no,
book?
I was
No.
like 15 and in rehab when the book came out. Like I didn't,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and I didn't know, like I didn't know any of this. People will like send me messages on Facebook sometimes who have like tracked me down, being like, "Your dad was like an inspiration," or like, "Can you sell me some of his art?" And it's like, yeah, like I never knew that he was a big deal, and it was also like not to make people sympathetic with like industry nepo children or
Sure.
anything like that, like. It was all normal to me, right?
Yeah.
Like my dad was just in the film industry.
Yeah.
We would like go to Pixar, or like we would like see a movie before it came out, or
Right.
like my dad would be like, "Oh, like Hideo Miyazaki signed this wall," and you're just like, "Cool, I guess." Like I'm 7, dog.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
let's go get some Pokemon cards. So it's like it's weird to have been like in that up until like I was 13. And then be like very quickly like pulled out of that like when you're 13, because like you know my uncle works for Pixar and stuff still, but you know like that like road into like whatever that industry was like quickly closed
Okay.
when my dad died.
Yeah.
For like a multitude of reasons, and like sometimes I'm like, I wonder what I'd be doing if like if he was alive. Like would I have like tried to take like the Nepo train like to
Sure.
Movieville? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I
'Cause
think he gave you the option and you declined at age
yeah,
5.
dude, I don't want to. Dude, I don't
You're
want to
really
be
fucked up.
young Tarzan. Fuck you, dude.
I deserve more, Dad.
We're gonna track
Why
down the
wasn't
Yeah,
I
voice.
dude.
Nemo?
2 points on the back end, or they can suck my dick.
revenue share agreement. We're gonna track down the voice actor for young Tarzan,
Yeah.
and we're gonna see what their career path looked like.
Yeah. What if
And then
they're
we're gonna
also
do a
poet?
side by side of yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. Kind of cool.
I think we can start to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Jordan, what do you got going on over the next like month or two?
February 19th is the first ever Santa Rosa Poetry Slam in Santa Rosa, California, the best city on earth. Some would say the
Some
best
would
city
say.
on earth.
Yeah.
Study
At
show.
Brew Coffee and Beer House in downtown Santa Rosa. I've been like kind of promoting the shit out of this thing.
Great.
And like Brew is a relatively small venue. So like let's pack it out. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? If you're in Santa Rosa and you're listening to Dylan and Johnny's podcast for some reason, like get on out there, dude.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's our main demographic.
Yeah, like let me tell you, if you're listening to this podcast, there's a perfect overlap for like the show coming up.
Nice.
And do you expect the like continuing show to be at that
Monthly,
at that place?
third
Okay.
Wednesday of the month.
Nice.
Great.
I am getting married in August, so I don't know if we'll
Oh,
do it that
congrats.
month. Thank you so much. But yeah, ideally we're going to do it every month, third Wednesday. Brew. It's free. It's all ages. Come buy a beer. It's like I'm only letting 8 people sign up to perform, so it's not going to be like too much poetry or anything like that. Like I think it's just a perfect portion of it.
That's an hour. Yeah.
Maybe. Well, there's 2 rounds, so it's like 8 poets, and then the top 3 do a second round.
I see. Okay.
So it'll be like 11 poets, which is just feels like just enough.
Yeah.
You
that's
go
perfect.
more than that might be too much.
Do you perform at all of them?
I maybe
You should.
I want so like one thing that I'm like kind of like making sure with this is that I don't like make this show about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard not
yeah.
to.
No, I know, but it's like I'm not making any money off of it. Like I'm just volunteering time. Like I'm not spending money on it,
Yeah.
but like I'm not like collecting money. I'm making sure there's like no door charge. I don't have like my personal Instagram account linked at all to the Santa Rosa Poetry Slam.
Art scene
account.
alive and accessible is what you're doing.
Yeah, I
Keeping
just
it alive.
I just want it to be a
beautiful.
thing, and I don't want it to turn into this space that I like leverage for my own
Sure.
personal gain. I got plenty of avenues for me, you know. I'm doing fine. I'm getting invited on podcasts, doc. You know what I mean?
Big time podcast.
So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna perform.
Yeah.
There's like a thing at Poetry Slams called the Sacrificial Poet. So before the competition starts, you have one person go up and perform a poem to kind of set the tone and calibrate the judges. I might do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do I have crash my wedding, August.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
That's great. You're gonna have poetry at the wedding?
I'm gonna have I'm gonna have the poet laureate of San Ramon,
Fuck
Jazz
yeah.
Sufi, write a custom poem for my wedding.
Also, what, you're doing vows.
Yeah, your vows
with
gotta
you
be-
is like not even fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, your wife.
Dude, it's kind of
Not fair.
I think I'm being a little cocky about it, if I'm being honest. Because she's like, "Have you started working on your vows yet?" I'm like, "Come on."
It'd be like day before. It'll be the most beautiful piece you ever hear.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
come on, dude.
You just recite
you
the
might
one
need
where you're
6
kissing
months. I
dudes
think
on the
I'm
neck at
okay.
the deli.
Just like, I really shit the bed. I just get the flu the week before, so I don't have any time to work on it, and I'm like too punchy, and I'm just like, all right, here's a poem about witches, guys. Like,
Actually, I just took the dialogue from Young Tarzan. That's great.
right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, this was a ton of fun.
This
been
was
great.
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope there was like a narrative through line.
We'll find something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll piece it together if it's
We-
not there.
Yeah, we know how to string things together.
It'll be
We're
mostly just
storytellers
clips.
The
like
only
you.
the
Yeah.
big thing to plug is literally the only thing I want you listening at home to do is follow the Santa Rosa Poetry Slam on Instagram at Santa Rosa Poetry Slam. I'm not on Facebook. I don't know how it works, and I have a thing. I think I'm like biased against boomer technology, and like Facebook feels like that. We're not on Twitter. We're not on Blue Sky. We just have literally one Instagram page. It'll take you 5 seconds. Follow. Come on up. Share. Just follow my fucking Instagram page. Thank you.
Hates boomers. That's Jordan Ranft. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
so much.
Bye.